that other people did, but not me. And I didn't really I think the first time I ventured into Hollywood was in the mid-1980s, which I did because I was understudying Ian McKellen on Broadway in a play called Amadeus, playing the role of Salieri. And everyone kept telling me, in order to play these kind of roles on Broadway, you need to have something called TVQ. I didn't know what that was, but it meant that you were a sellable commodity because people had seen you on television. So they said, you should go to Hollywood and try it out. So I did. And I made a lot of pilots that didn't get picked up. And then I made the nanny pilot, which I thought didn't have a chance of being picked up. And of course it was, and we ran for 6 years. But the theater is my first love. And it's such a different way of working. You see, when you're on stage, if you're in you're in an audience of 300 people or 1,200 people or 3,000 people, you have to project your voice, you have to project your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings to a large crowd of people. But when you're working on camera, the camera's right there, and you can do very little. You don't have to speak very loudly. You can speak at room temperature and act at room temperature. And the camera is really more interested in what's going on in your eyes because they are the lens is that close to you. So there's always an adjustment that I have to make if I go back and forth from the stage to the world of television or film. Pardon me. It's allergy season. I live in upstate New York. I walked out yesterday morning to get into my car, and there was so much pollen on the car. You could stand a pencil up in the pollen. The car is black normally, but it was quite bright yellow yesterday morning. And it's all settling in my chest, so if I cough a bit, not to worry, it's just allergies. But I have had a career, a very fortunate career in the theater. I was able to do at least, I lose count because I've done some of Shakespeare's plays more than once, but I've been able to play Hamlet 4 times. I've been in 3 productions of Lear, playing Edmund, the Fool, and finally Lear. So I have nothing left on my bucket list about roles in Shakespeare. I've either aged past them or am not or I'm not interested in doing certain roles that in his less familiar plays, nobody produces them anymore, which is a shame because there are some roles that, if they came along and came my way, I would be happy to do. But as I said, they seem to do the same Shakespeare plays over and over again for new generations. And there's 37 of them, and they probably are only about 20 of them that are performed anymore. But whenever I'm asked to do something classical, I jump at the opportunity. And I am less and less interested in working on the stage as I get older because I will be 80 this coming November, and remembering the lines and saying the same words over and over again 8 times a week, it becomes tedious after a while. And my sister, who keeps track of my career better than I do, tells me that the last production I was in was my 300th production since I was 11 years old, which I find hard to believe, but that's the number. And close to 200 television shows, including 145 episodes of The Nanny. So I'm getting to the point where I think maybe I've done enough. You asked me if there's anything I wouldn't do again. I don't think I would do another musical. I find them very hard to do. I don't enjoy them. I don't enjoy seeing them, to tell you the truth. But being in them is the most tiring thing of all. And you wake up every morning, the first thing you do is grab your throat and try and sing a scale and see if you've got any voice left after doing 8 shows in a week, 2 on Wednesdays and 2 on Saturdays. It's very hard work. And I've had some training as a singer, but I am not a musician. So the last musical that I was in was a revival of La Cage aux Folles. And the actor who played my son came to my dressing room one night and knocked on the door and said, "I have very little voice. And I said, "Well, why don't you let your understudy go on?" He said, No, I'll be fine. I won't be able to talk as loud as normal." And I said, "Okay, great." And then 30 minutes later, he made his entrance onto the stage, and he and I sang a duet, and he sang like a bird. And I thought, how do you do that? Because if I can't speak, I can't sing. But he couldn't speak, but he could sing. It was the strangest thing. And it was eye-opening for me, because there's a different set of muscles at work, I guess. I don't really understand what it is. But I don't know that I've answered your question very much at all. But to enumerate all of the productions that I've been in, we'd be here all day. I've worked since I was 11, as I said, and it may be time to maybe not quit, because actors never really stop. Somebody said to Bob Hope, when will you retire? And he said, from what? It's sort of like we just do what we do until we can't do it anymore. And that's kind of where I am now. So anyway, thank you for your message. Gosh, I've talked a long time. I hope some of it made sense, or at least was vaguely amusing. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.